Okay. The way hunting is seen is split about half and half. Some people think it is terrible and should be stopped altogether, but some see the benefits and see why we need it. I believe we would be way worse off without the positive effects that it brings. I've done a lot of research about this topic, and I also have been a lifelong hunter. You could say I know a few things about it, and I can say that we do in fact need hunters to keep stable ecosystems. An article written in 2009 by the Scientific American called "Does Hunting Help or Hurt the Environment?" said, on one hand, some say nothing could be more natural than hunting, and indeed, just about every animal species, including humans, has either been predator or prey at some point in its evolution. Hunting has many benefits to not only humans and their life, but to also ecosystems and the animals involved in this highly debated topic. We are going to focus on all things hunting can help with and why it should stay as a practice used all over the world. We are going to mostly look at the benefits it holds towards ecosystems in an area, and also a little bit of what benefits hunting offers to the human population. Without it, we would have many problems that most people wouldn't even think about. Some naysayers like to think of hunting as barbaric and completely wrong because hunters are going into their home and killing the animals for sport. Obviously, there is some truth to this because hunting can be somewhat gruesome, as most people would know. And I personally think that as long as you use all the meat that the animal has to offer, and you're respectful about it, there's nothing wrong with it because it's supernatural. It's been happening for forever. An article I read called "Why Hunt," written by Jan Dizzard in 2014, said there are probably about as many reasons to hunt as there are hunters. This really puts the whole debate into perspective and where hunters are coming from. So this article also said that the reasons can be summed up into 4 main reasons. The one that sticks out to me the most is to take responsibility for one's food. To me, this and many others I know, hunting was and is about tradition passed down through the family. Although most of us in the United States today aren't fighting for food, it's a way to get closer with the family members and bond over healthy, wholesome food. People against hunting would say that we shouldn't eat deer because we have enough food, but in most cases, like I said, that's really not the reason why anybody's doing it. It's basically just tradition. An article I read from the Hoover Institution written by Terry Anderson in 2015 called "How Hunting Saves Animals" talked about how the Namibian government is trying to save their most endangered rhino species. They sold a tag to kill one for $1 million. And basically the rhino that they sold the tag for was like crazy old. It couldn't reproduce anymore. So, it couldn't have any more babies. It wasn't helping anything out. It wasn't helping like the herd out. And basically, since they sold it for $1 million, they put all that money towards saving the rest of the herd. And it was pretty much a win-win scenario. Okay, so not only is hunting good for other animals and ecosystems, it also helps us humans live our lives much easier. In an article that I read called "Why Hunting is Important," written by Greg Wagoner in 2017, he spells out what kind of impact animals have on our everyday life. There are many problems associated with animals and humans that hunting can help solve. This article in particular talks about how farmers sometimes see massive destruction in their crops from deer or whatever other animals are eating on them. I know personally when we go to hunting up in northern Wisconsin, there will be huge circles of corn knocked over because there are bears rolling around in it just like playing. These animals are also known to come up to houses looking for garbage lying around, and that can be pretty dangerous if you have kids running around. Bears aren't the only animals causing problems, though. Mostly everyone knows 1 or 2 people that have gotten in an accident from a deer in the road. Deer sometimes just wander out into the road, and obviously that can't always be fixed by hunting, but it could also be due to too many deer in that area, causing them to look elsewhere for food. Overall, hunting keeps people and wildlife farther apart, which in turn creates for a safer environment for everyone. So basically, I have 2 shotgun shells. And in Iowa, like you can see, this is a slug and this is a 20 gauge. So the slug would be used for like deer, and then this is like what the red shotgun shell that everybody knows and loves. This would be like you shoot basically like little pellets out, little BBs. So yeah, everyone knows that one. Hunting helps keep humans safe when on the roadways, but it also keeps populations in check. One of the articles I read called In Defense of Hunting, written by Frank Minter in 2018, talks about the tax that helps animals live and keep their population in check. The article goes into detail on how hunters are the ones keeping our animals safe because we pay taxes on many things related to the sport, and that money goes to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services. It is in an article called 25 Reasons Why Hunting is Conservation, written by the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation in 2013. It said that with all the license costs and fees, hunters pay around $796 million towards conservation programs each year. The article written by Frank Minter also says that every big game species in the U.S. has gained many members to its population after a hunting season was created for it. This just goes to show how well our hunting system works here in America. My dad told me that when he was growing up, the white-tailed deer population was way lower than it is now, and no one would shoot a doe for fear of putting them into further extinction. Now you can shoot a doe or buck and be totally fine because the population has made it so far, and I even got 2 free doe tags in Wisconsin because there are just so many deer running around. One way some hunters are helping feed the ever-growing deer population is by planting food plots. So basically a food plot is just like a little cornfield or anything else that a deer would eat, and it just feeds them and makes sure there's more food for the growing population. In summary, hunting can be very good for the environment and even us humans. Regardless of what people say about it and what kind of terrible things it's doing to our animals, I've shown why it's actually much better than people make it out to be. Not everyone is going to hunt because it just isn't for everyone, but I hope this at least shows why this tradition and practice needs to stay around. Overall, all of these facts show that hunting is actually beneficial to both animals and humans. This is why I think that if it's done right, no one should have a problem with it.